Greetings, Wambui, Bahati here. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to make a flat scarf on a round loom, and the optimum word is flat. Because many of us were smart enough to figure out, oh, I'd like to make a scarf on my round loom. So the idea is not to make a full circle, but to find a section, the width that I want my scarf to be, and figure out a way to go back and forth until I have something the length of the scarf that I would like my scarf to be. And then I'll take it off and I'll have a scarf. Well, I did that. And some of you did that. And what we ended up with was curly scarves. We ended up with sausage scarves that rolled in on themselves. And look at how long mine is. I really thought I was doing something. Because I thought, oh, this is so simple. Now I'll have scarves to go with all those hats. Well, it was a curly scarf. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to demonstrate how to make a scarf that comes out flat like that, a non-curly scarf. And the idea is not to use the same stitch over and over and over. I guess you need different stitches in order to balance it out so it doesn't roll in. So you need at least 2 stitches, and we are so lucky because we know the E-wrap, we know the E-wrap, the normal knit stitch, and we know the purl stitch. But not to worry. If you need a refresher or you're not sure what those stitches are, I'm going to demonstrate them as I go along, because what we're going to do is I'm going to make 1 row of purl and 1 row of regular stitch and 1 row of purl, and we're just going to alternate back and forth, and that's how we come out with a scarf that's flat and looks really pretty and is a nice non-sausage scarf. Okay, so there are many ways, of course, to make scarves, and with loom knitting. And one of the ways is with a rectangular loom that looks like this, and that just makes sense because it's shaped like a scarf and it's shaped like a shawl. So one day we're going to have some fun with this type of loom. And you can also make a scarf. If you know how to make a hat, what you just do is that instead of stopping at a certain amount where you want the hat to be, you have this all around and you just keep going. And what you're doing is you're knitting a tube. And you just knit that tube. You just keep knitting and knitting until you have it the length that you want a scarf to be. And then you would take this off the loom, and what you have now is a tube, and you would close up the ends of the tube and put some tassels on, and you have a scarf, and you have a nice double layer scarf, as a matter of fact. So today what we're going to make, though, is we're going to make this single layer non-curly scarf here. And so what you need is your loom, your hook or pick, and some yarn. So I'm going to start by just making a loop here to put my yarn on the loom. Now, in some of the previous videos, I referred to this little loop hook peg right here as the lonely peg. I have been since corrected. It is called the anchor peg. It is the anchor peg. But I'm going to try using that one day. I've never used it like that. I'm going to put it beside the anchor peg. That I use the anchor peg to just guide me. So I'm going to do that today. Although I'm going to use the anchor peg. I am. And so we're going to start as if we're just making, those of you that know how to do hats or the E-wrap, you're just going to wrap. And I am going to change the angle of my camera in a little while so that you can see better. But right now we're just going to wrap. You're just going to wrap. This is how you get started. Now I'm not going to make mine too wide because for demonstration purposes, I'm going to be going back and forward from one side to the other, back and back and back. And I don't want to have to cover too much space to make the video too tedious and too long. So, but I wanted to start here with the E-wrap, and how we're going to start is we're going to make 2 rows of E-wrap. And I'm going to change my camera, but first I want to show you this. when you decide on the width that you want your scarf to be, let's say you want your scarf to be this wide. You're saying, oh, that's a good width. That's what I want my scarf to be. I'm going to suggest that you then, once you decide the width that you want your scarf, you wrap at least 2, 3, if not 4 more pegs. Okay, and the reason for that is because, as you can see here with this scarf, okay, so this is the width of the scarf, but at the top, at the time, when I put the yarn on, it was this wide, okay? So my scarf is no longer this wide because as you go by, the stitches pull into each other. So if you want a scarf, the width that you want your scarf, add a few more pegs because it is going to go in, it's going to decrease when you start taking it off, okay? So, all right, so I'm going to change my camera angle so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. All right, so we got our loop on the loom, and we're going to count that as the first E-wrap. We're going to say that one's been E-wrapped. And then we're going to go to the second one, and we're going to wrap, and 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 you will keep wrapping until you get to the width that you want your scarf to be. So I'm going to stop right here because I don't want mine to be too wide for the demonstration. But when you get to the width that you want your scarf to be, then remember to add at least 3, if not 4 more wraps of pegs, because when you take it off, it's going to decrease a little bit. All right, so this is how wide I want mine to be. Actually, I'm going to even take one off because I don't want. All right, so let's say we've done the E-wrap. I have 1 row of E-wrap. That's how we begin. We need a second row of E-wrap. To begin the scarf, we're going to do 2 rows of E-wraps before we start the purling. So I'm going to wrap the last one I did so that there's 2 on there. Actually, I'm just wrap, and then I'm going to go under. Okay, so this is the last E-wrap I did. I'm going to wrap it again, but then I'm going to go underneath the next one and wrap it and start wrapping from there. So then you see that? So I have the last E-wrap, and then I'm going to wrap it again, but I can't, in order to wrap the next one, to make it make sense, I got to go underneath, and then I start going backwards, okay? And then I'm putting 2 E-wraps now on each peg, and we go back and we're at the beginning now. Okay, now we're at the beginning. So what we're going to do for this first row with the 2, we should have 2 rows of E-wraps. So we're going to go, and where we stopped, then we're going to pull up, just take the bottom and lift it over like we would do our regular loom knitting stitch, and bottom and over, bottom and over. And we're going to take the bottom yarn over the top, bottom over the top, and bottom over the top. Okay, and you would go back, you would do your whole width of yours. And then now we have the string over here. Now we've done that. We did 2 rows of E-wraps, and we did the stitch where we pulled the bottom over the top. Now we're ready to do purl. I don't know why I pushed that down, because we're going to do purls. All right, so purls, we're going to go make sure we go to the outside, and I may be upside down for you. I hope that works out okay, you understand. But I'm going to take this yarn, make sure I go to the outside of that first peg. So really, this is what I'm going here. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go to the outside of that peg right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is do a purl stitch all the way across. Each peg is going to be purled. All right, so I'm going to take my pick, and I'm going to do the purl stitch. Okay, to do the purl stitch, you lay the yarn across that peg, and then you take the hook, and you go over that yarn with your hook, and you scrunch it up through until you get a loop. You get a loop now. So what you're going to do is take all of this, you're going to hold that loop, take everything off, and then put that loop back on. Now the loop is the only thing on there. And you're going to go to the second one. Lay that yarn across that peg. Take your hook, go in there, and scrunch that bottom thread up till you get a loop. You're going to take everything off. You're going to hold the loop because you want to save that loop. Hold that loop, take everything off, and then put the loop back on. All right, and then you're going to do that. You're going to do this whole row, the whole width of your scarf like that. So you're going to lay the yarn across the peg. Then you're going to take your hook, go over the yarn, and pull it through till you get a loop. Hold that loop while you take everything off, and then put that loop back on. Okay, so we lay it across the next peg. We're going to take our, see, there's the yarn right there. We want to go over the yarn and scrunch it up so we can pull up a loop like that. So we've pulled up a loop, and then holding the loop, we're going to take everything off of that peg and put the loop back on. Okay, and then we're going to go to the next one. We're going to lay that yarn across there. We're going to take our hook, scrunch that yarn back up. We're going to get a loop. Hold onto the loop while you take everything off and put the loop back on. And we're going to do that again until we get all the way across the row. And so we're going to take this and pull the loop back up. Hold on to the loop now. You take that off and put the loop back on. And we're going to do that again. We're going to go in and pull up that yarn so that we have a loop right there. Hold on to the loop while you pull this off and put the loop back on. Okay, and now we have one more to do. So this is our last purl stitch for now on going this way. So we're going to put the yarn laid across the peg like that. Then you're going to take, okay, I'm working backwards. You're going to take okay, lay it across the peg. You're going to take the hook and you're going to go over that yarn and you're going to, this is so backwards for me. Okay, wait, I got to do this. All right, I can only do it this way. Okay, so you're going to take the yarn and scrunch that yarn that's laying over there until you get a loop, and then you take everything off and put the loop back on. Okay, now we're ready to go back the other way. Now this time when we're going back the other way, it's you're just going to do just start off going backwards. You're going to go in there, wrap. So a backwards wrap, backwards wrap, backwards wrap, 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 and then you're at the end again. And now we're going to do the regular stitch, which is to go under and pull over. Okay, go under, pull over, go under and pull over. And we're just going to go all around with the under and pull over, under and pull over, and under and pull over. And now we're ready to do another row of purls. And so that's how it's going to go. So you're going to go back again. So it's just a matter of doing one row of regular E-stitch and then another row of purl all the way until the length of your scarf. I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, please let me know, or if there's something you'd like for me to show in a little more detail, let me know that as well. And on the next video, I will show you how to take it off the loom. Okay, thank you so very much. Have the best days ever. Peace.